Ready?
Yeah.
Well, today is a sad day. Genevieve, today is a sad day.
It is a sad day.
Part of Bunjie is broken. The rope cocker. Can you see how frayed and worn that poor rope is? Does it show up in the video? I'm going to snap this bad boy off of there. This is a 2010 Excalibur Axiom, and I got to tell you, this rope is a 2010 rope. Can you see that? We'll get the pliers right out of the way here. Look at how frayed that is. You know, you read about people pulling back, the hooks either snap or the rope breaks or something like that, and comes back and hits you or whatever else. I really don't have a lot of fear of that with this older, slower crossbow, 175-pound draw weight. This thing has been through everything with me over the last going on 13 seasons. But the time has come to retire this rope. This has also been with me through thick and thin. This bag contains the backup rope cocker that I have used that's been in my backpack for decades, and the baggie is even worn out. And then I have yet another rope cocker right here, ready to go. This is an original Excalibur, and I'm hesitant to go to a newer one like this one, which is a knockoff. See, it doesn't even have the Excalibur logos on the handles, because I don't know what quality was used in making this. I really don't know. I know these are good because these have been used hundreds and hundreds of times, not thousands. I don't think I got 1,000 shots through the OB. But this rope, I wonder if it's even set for the same size. What I'm thinking is hopefully, oh, that's short. Wow, that's too short. Check this dude. This is another one that we have in a baggie. So I always have a backup in a baggie. So I throw them in my backpack so I have them on me in case I forget the one. But I got to tell you, see, that one's long enough. I could use that rope. That's fine. We'll just use that rope.
You could just shorten that one and use that one.
Yeah, it doesn't have the Excalibur logo on it, though. So we're going to cut that right off. That came off, no problem. Feed off, old handle, old hook, or new hook, actually. Those are the hooks we're not keeping. And then we'll feed that rope back through there. Now we have a setup for later use. We can make another rope cocker. We got backups if we need them. This dude, same thing. Now this rope is no good. It just plain and simple is no good. So we got to get that out of there one way or another. Those knots have been pulled through there so many times, it's going to be very difficult to get them out of there. But if I can't pull them like that, which I could, not a problem, I'm going to get my sheetrock knife with a nice fresh blade. That's my dad's old sheetrock knife. That was your grandfather's old sheetrock knife. What do you think of that?
That's pretty cool.
He would be very happy that we're using it together doing stuff like this. Let's see if we can feed this guy out of here.
One of his old hammers is my taxidermy hammer.
Yep, you do have a leather-handled 12-ounce hammer. Does that work for taxidermy? You
Perfect.
Use for that stuff? That's cool. I borrowed that hammer the other day, just so you know.
That's okay. Just put it back.
Just kept burning it until we got it so it was thin enough to go through the hole. Kind of a pain in the butt. It smells like a metal shop down here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, it went right through there. Look how easy that is. And then we're just going to tie a little knot in it as close to the end as possible. This is our test knot. We're not actually going to pull it tight yet. We're going to just get that down there. Okay. And make sure that we have enough and everything's in the right place and that it likes what it's got. What the heck? How is that possible? Do we use the wrong rope?
No.
Looking at the other cut rope cockers we've got a Dr. Stirrup cocker. And this thing there's a good design behind this. The design, the idea at least, is that it has multiple pulleys in it, right? It's got a pulley on a rope and a pulley on the string. So when you're cranking it back, supposedly you get even more reduction. So it cuts your overall amount of your pullback even more. It's got really good durable handles. I like that. I like the fluorescent orange so you don't get it lost. These are a little bit big to put in my pocket. You know how I like to put it in my pocket, and that's hard to do. The big problem with this is it's designed to reduce the load when you're pulling back and cocking one of those micro crossbows. The problem with that is those micro crossbows are so narrow. When you go to cock those, these things are really wide. And if your hooks are really wide, now all of a sudden your string is coming back at a sharper angle, and it's got even more tension as it turns very abruptly to go into the hook and go around the latch of the string, right? Because these hooks are going to be out here. So now all of a sudden, if you look down here, it's like this, right? You've got an extra very sharp angle here. Now on a wider crossbow like this one, it doesn't make as much difference. But I originally bought this from Dr. Stirrup for the micro crossbow. I got to tell you, cocking Genevieve's crossbow, 280-pound draw weight, not so much fun.
No.
Doing it by hand, not so much fun. So you got to use a crank. Now her crank's upstairs. This is the crank that originally came on Bunjie Jr. It's a good crank, but you're going to want to watch these too. If you have a crank like this or the EXT crank or whatever crank you got for your crossbow, you're going to want to look at those strings, right? If that cable looks as though it needs to be repaired, get it repaired, get a new one and get it installed properly so that it's on there good. You want to keep an eye on this stuff because you can get hurt with these things. There's a lot of tension on these, especially with the newer crossbows. This one here, I got one from Cabela's. This is probably a good rope cocker. I mean, it's intended for Excalibur crossbows. I cut it way too short, or it came way too short. Again, that would work maybe for the micro size. If the rope is not the right length, the problem is that it's going to change my muscle memory, right? I've been doing this for going on 13 seasons. 12 complete seasons of pulling this crossbow back, you know, close to 1,000 times or however many times I shot it. And you get used to pulling it a certain distance. You get used to the latches grabbing that string at exactly that same spot every time. So I want the rope really to be the same so that I'm not changing that. That's very important to me. This rope, obviously too short, and I don't want to use, I want to stick with the original hooks if I can, because I know that those are strong. This one, again, cut a little bit too short, so that one probably not going to work. We're going to try and measure the length of this dude and see if that'll work, this orange one. So I'm going to retrieve the old rope, which I've already cut off, unfortunately. It appears as though we got enough rope here. So I think we're going to end up with orange, especially if I can untie these knots. Get these dudes off of here and see if we can salvage it and use that rope. We're going to put these hooks in there, and someday we'll have them for later use if needed. It's that rope. And this one, why is it wet?
Because your coffee.
Oh, take this.
Untie it.
Untie it. Because that way the rope is longer. When you cut it off every time, Rich,
the rope gets a little shorter.
The rope gets shorter every time I cut it. Your mother is going to be like, what are they burning down there? She's already asked me that this morning. I was doing arrows. All right, now again, let's get these dudes on here in the same order so they go the same way. That way they're happy. I don't think it really matters which way, but they got to go on there the same way. And then this dude we're going to put on this way, right? Hey, we got ourselves a rope cocker, Genevieve. Look at that. The good news is this rope matches the strings. Ooh. See if you get around there. Ooh, it feels about right. Ugh.
Careful, careful.
Back right up here. Back right up here. I'm going to come over here. I need a lot of room for this thing. All right, so we're going to try her here. And that is just the knots. Look at that. Worked perfect. I can whip it right out of there, put it back in my pocket, pull it back out when I'm ready to decock the crossbow. And just put it on there like that. Throw it on there to decock this bad boy. Put one little finger there. Do that. Put it on fire. Let him down. Bunjie's happy. Well, that didn't go too bad. I'm going to tighten up a little bit more because they're loosening up. But I'll get them to the right length just where I like it. So it stays on here with just a little bit of tension so it doesn't fall off. And so that I can, get the same muscle memory when I pull back, all that good stuff. Bunjie is happy once again.